These are just three of the most courageous women, but for all the young women out there, I want you to know this. We've heard you. We will fight for you, and we will continue to fight for you. We kept our promise. Last year we pledged if we had the opportunity to be in the majority, we would bring this bill forward. We would stand up for fairness, we'd stand up for you, we'd stand up for Title IX. And that's exactly what we did today. We ask others across this country to join with us to help us pass it in the Senate and get it to the president's desk. So every woman is protected in fairness and in competition. With that, let's open it up for questions. Yes, ma'am. You know, it works through committee. The Supreme Court has made that decision. It goes to the states. The states will take up that issue. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, I'll take it. But well, but your question to us right there is that you're saying that Macy doesn't know them. But that's what you have said in your question so far. You know what? It's not your place. I will take the questions, and I'll decide when they ask a question. I'll decide when I answer. Go ahead. Yeah. And this is not the point. I would say we know them, we understand them. It doesn't have to do with it. What it plays is this is athletics, okay? When I grew up in athletics and I wanted to wrestle or you wanted to box, it's based on your weight, even though we were both biological. When we went and played football, we had to weigh in every single day. Why? Because they wouldn't have somebody when we were younger over 150 compete with somebody that's 100 pounds. Because you know what? Muscle mass made a difference. There's a difference in volleyball. Why would you have in men's sports of volleyball 7 inches higher net than below? So we can understand the other person. We can go to dinner with the other person. We can hang out with the other person. But there's a reason why Title IX was created. There's a reason why there's men and women's sports. There's a reason why there's a professional basketball for men and women. It's about fairness. And if there's one final fiber of America, it's about giving people an opportunity that if they work hard, if they sacrifice. I've listened to Macy talk a few times. She didn't go to a prom. Not because she wasn't asked, because she made a decision that she was going to dedicate her life and her time to excel in a sport. That she would take weekends away that her family would sacrifice to spend the money to drive her hours away to compete. And that moment where she can compete, where she had spent years for colleges around the country to see that she can grab a scholarship, that all that time away was going to pay off. Why? Because she could have that college paid for because of what the sacrifice she made where others would not make that decision. To a biological man who steps in, who that all time that he played, he now gets to play with a net 7 inches shorter. How many basketball players would love to play with the hoop a little shorter too? So it's not about whether do we know somebody. Yes, we do them. And then when we know them, we also understand biologically they're different. And it's about muscle mass and it's about fairness. Yes. I haven't read the bill, but just like any other bill like this bill, bills go through committees, and after the bills go through committee, it's just like I said, you work the process, and the bills go through committee, they come to the floor. Yes. Yes, ma'am. I answered your question. Yes, ma'am. I answered your question. Yes, ma'am. Yes. I think we're in very good shape. We just rolled it out yesterday. We're working, talking through all the members, and I don't want to break all expectations. I want you to follow it. I want you to be on the floor. I want the anticipation. I want you to see. I want you to see as the clock goes up. I want you to write stories like I'm teetering, whether I could win or not, and the whole world hangs in the balance. And then I want you to write a story after it passes. Would the president sit down and negotiate? Just like we've done every other time before. Would the Senate, are they going to take up another bill to name the next month maple syrup? Are they going to honor the UConn team that they won a basketball tournament? Or will they sit down and work for the American people? I mean, I don't know what the month of May will be about in the Senate or what they'll honor, but I think they ought to honor the American public and actually take up a debt ceiling. Yes. You know, someone asked me that question when we were trying to defend everybody's safety here in D.C. We put a bill on the floor to stop them from decriminalizing everything. You know what? It passed the Senate and the president signed it. Same thing happened about the pandemic. So I shouldn't have to worry about the Senate. I'm just worried about the Senate actually working. I'm just worried about the Senate actually showing up. But if they show up, is it going to be another month naming Maine the maple syrup for March? Is it going to be another month like this week where they named UConn basketball, honoring them for winning? Or will it take up the issues that America cares most about? They've got inflation going because the Democrats added $6 trillion. Every poll will show you Americans do not want you just to lift the debt ceiling and continue to have inflation. They want us to be less dependent upon China. So they want us to pass exact bill what we're doing. They want us to be able to protect Social Security and Medicare. So when we do work requirements, it helps more people go to work, more people to pay in. That's the concern they have. Now, I can't worry about the Senate. I worry about the Senate leader in Schumer, what he can do or accomplish, because he hasn't shown that he's done much. I just wish he sits down and be able to do something. So that's why I talk the president. I don't understand. He's the first president in the country that can bumble his way into a default. Or should he sit down and negotiate like everybody's done before? Yes, sir. No, not at all. Not at all. You know, the leader does that, but you'll find even today, Homeland's marking up, and next week, and then you'll find, I believe in May, we have a real concern in what's happening with Title 42 going away, that we've got to take actions. And I thought that was a big success last night in Judiciary. I give everybody involved, especially the leader and the whip and everybody else working on this, from Chairman Jordan and everybody else involved, from Mario and Juan Siscomani and everybody. I think it'll be a big victory, and we'll get it through the floor. You know what? That's a great question, because I think there's a misconception with all of you, because I was actually in the room. That debt ceiling didn't get raised without negotiations. The difference is the Democrats wouldn't raise the debt ceiling until President Trump agreed to spend more money. So if you watched when the debt ceiling got raised, what happened? It all got more spending going through with the agreement for the appropriations to spend more. And then when the Democrats took over overall and had the House, Senate, and the presidency, they added $6 trillion. Then what happened next? Inflation, which took away thousands of dollars from every single American going forward. So what we're simply trying to do, exactly what everybody else in all these times, to sit down and negotiate, just as you have to do in your own kitchen table. And just to explain it to the American public, a debt ceiling is giving your child a credit card. They charge it up and they hit the limit. Would you simply raise the limit, or would you first sit down and look at what you're spending your money on? Every household does that, and Congress should do the same. I hope you all have a great weekend. Thank you.